Hello, hello. Oh, hello, Rose Ninja. Hello, hello. It's me. How are you doing today? What we are going to be working on today is just hopefully a solid final rewrite for this application, since I have this entire week off. So I've just been working on this during the day and not saying anything about it. Yeah, I don't know. Didn't get as much done today as I would like, though, because I did the thing I usually do when I take time off, and instead of being productive, I just slept in until like noon, because I am apparently still like 16 years old. That's actually not true, though. But yeah, the big thing that I've been doing is just running lots and lots of unit tests. How exciting. How exciting. It's something that I've been very sorely missing, though, for a long while in the original application. I guess the current version. Because this one only has like 3 unit tests for non-essential pieces of code, which means that bugs have a tendency to just kind of slip in. Nocturnal myself. Yeah, I feel that. Like, it also definitely does not help that I guess from my normal job, it's almost working on Pacific time if you're in the US. So I primarily live on the East Coast. I say primarily as if I live anywhere else, but I live on the East Coast, Eastern time, but my job mostly takes place in Pacific time, so I'm like already 3 hours back from where I'm used to working. Yeah, I've been trying to correct my sleep habits, though. It's rough. It's rough. Every day I stray further into degeneracy. All right. So let's see. This is what I would. No, this is not what I was testing. This is what I was testing. So you can see here that these are unit tests. This is not a very fleshed out one. This is a pretty fleshed out one. So testing all the important bits, because one of the biggest pain points of the current system is the loading and saving of configuration. It's just garbage, because I have very low confidence in it working or it not working. So here we are, trying to test and see if things continue to work. Test as dict pass. And then, how have you been doing, though? I've been working on any fun games recently. If I can get this finished before the deadline, I would like to join the Bevy Jam, which is a Rust game engine. It's a Rust game engine, etc., etc. Pretty hot. It's the newest kid on the block. I think the lead developer used to be like a contributor to Godot as well, so that's neat. Until they realized that they'd rather do things more code-based. Ask how the jam went. Which jam? This one is still ongoing. I would like to participate in the Bevy Jam. I'd like to participate in the Bevy Jam, but only if I can finish this almost complete rewrite for this application here, which is the VTuber face tracker thingy. parse data. Test round trip pass. So round trip in this circumstance refers to loading some data into a base config thingy and then I guess spitting it back out and then hoping the data is still the same. The add-on jam, that didn't go very well. It didn't go very well. That's okay though. I still made some good tools for me. It's all right. I think, as always, which makes sense for a lot of things. It's most people are more concerned about how something looks, like the graphics, even though this isn't even a game. So, because that's one of the things where I'm just super like loose about. Like I don't care about graphics, especially in tooling. That meant I kind of suffered. That's fine. You can find all the tools I made for it on my GitHub. There's a link in my profile, etc. So assert true. So parse dictionary good, dictionary 0 is okay. Then I think I just want to spit this back out and check against good dictionary. Yeah. So test base config. Just need to check this. Dic0 is equal to bc0 get as dictionary. That's pretty much it. And then we'll just have to assert equals for both of these. So assert that dictionary, take the T out, just so it's the same length for each thing. Get, ooh, okay. I think that should be okay. So other hello should be equal to bc0 get data hello. So what I've done here, which I thought was pretty neat, if I can find it, base config. It's actually a pretty sick design for a configuration stuff. So this is just your base configuration. It only has one field called other, which allows you to just slap whatever data that you want into it, although you should try to avoid doing that. And then there are, you know, you can parse JSON, or no, you can parse dictionaries, you can parse strings. Both of those functions call parse data, which works recursively, so you don't have to do anything. It just parses the data structure as is, tries to deposit the data into like proper fields, or if it can't find the fields, it just places them into this big other dictionary. It's beautiful. Get data, checks to see if the field exists in just the class or in the other dictionary. Otherwise, it just returns null. Get nested data. Oh, baby. Works like a, I guess like a, not like a SQL query, but it's, I guess close to like how you would do a node query in Godot. So you just pass in like a file path essentially to your data. Ooh, what a great system. And then all you need to do to define your own special config files, you extend the base config, add all your fields, and then it pretty much just works. I mean, I guess this is a bad example. Model config has some special stuff in it that we need to be very specific, but you know, for metadata, you can see we don't have any additional fields. And the best part is that everything is tested extremely extensively. So we've tagged the feature here. So for better or worse, this is what we got. For better or worse, this is what we got. But I mean, that's pretty much test-driven development in a nutshell. Really only works, in my opinion, if you know exactly what you want. Otherwise, you're just kind of wasting your time because then you'll need to change your tests constantly. No. Does this not? Oh, okay, this does. Yeah, okay, so it just places them all into the other. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, right. Hold on. Clearly I don't know what I'm doing at all. Need to run the test via this one button. Yeah, ding dong. Okay. Let's see. Assert equals dictionary 0 other int key. I believe these should be parsed as the same thing. AKA they're not integers anymore because it has no idea what the data type is. I'm not sure actually. Does this give me an error? Maybe not. Oh, once I send this to once I store it as a string, it loses the data type of integer. Because once you store it as a string, it's JSON. So JSON numbers, there's no such thing as an integer in JSON. There's only floats. So, interesting edge case that I might need to keep track of. Let's see. String 0. So this will be bc0 get as JSON string. And then we can parse it like this. And then verify the values once again. So var, we'll call this base config 0 is equal to, oh, hold on. Base config, no. Assert true. We should be able to parse this again. Parse dictionary. Oh no, parse string. bc0 get as JSON string. Check to see that it's okay. Yeah, and then we'll just do assert equals the same stuff. So whatever we get from bc0 get data hello should be equal to the equivalent thing in bc1. Assert equal bc, or I guess this should be bc1. So this is expected to actual, is it actual to expected essentially. I forget the order. What is the order? Yeah, okay, so actual to expected. Yeah. Then we also want to assert that get data hello is equal to dictionary 0 other hello, and then it should also just be equal to let's see, good dictionary 0 other hello. All right, give me a shot. parse string. Invalid get index get as JSON string on. Ooh. Get as JSON. Oh, I didn't. Code completion. All right, beautiful, beautiful. So we can do multiple round trips and we still get the same data. We'll need to check this one more time, of course. So with something slightly more complicated, so region, this will be good, dictionary 0, and region. So this will be good string. Good string is much more complex, for sure. Assert true, BC2. Parse string. String 0. Okay. I guess I should actually, what I should do is probably make a way so that I can actually reuse these. Well, I suppose that is just what like base config new is for. Yeah, there's no reason to clear the config afterwards. Yeah, that's dictionary. Then we'll just do a bunch of assert equals just to make sure that they are the same value, or at least a value that I'm expecting. So it'll be other. Get nested data. So this would be other array. I think that should actually, yeah, that should be valid. Yeah. So accessing data in this way is way slower, for sure. Not very well optimized, but it is way more readable as well. So the idea is that you wouldn't really need to call this, or you would use this function, like get nested data. It's probably, I would call it like 3 times as slow as just doing like get data and then doing your regular, you know, dictionary array access stuff on it. Well, that's all right. If you're accessing config stuff, you're usually not doing it like super duper often, right? Maybe. Maybe I'm making a few bad assumptions, but get data test. Oh, baby. And then last one, var bc3. It's once more another base config. Assert true, bc through parse string, and then we'll do bc. Oh, hello, Bumsy. Hello, hello. How are you today? Did not stream during the day like I said I would, but I am streaming at night, which is uncommon for me on Mondays. Usually on Mondays I play video games, but or work on other things that aren't very fun to watch. Well, pretty much nothing I've been working on recently is super fun to watch. Like all I'm actually doing right now is just working on unit tests. How exciting. Let's see, this should be other array, or I guess other dictionary hello. PC2 get data other dictionary. Something like that. TDD continues. Yeah, it has really helped me write a few things. So like this function here, get nested data, I think that's it's a really nice helper thing I didn't realize I needed, but once I wrote it, it's pretty sick. So if you have like super nested data structures, you can use kind of like a Godot node query parameter style access to, you know, grab data. It's pretty neat. I'm assuming it's actually really slow as well, but it takes up more memory since you do need to basically traverse a tree. So we just keep pushing things onto the stack of things to search. It's pretty weird. But it does make, you know, data access a lot nicer. I guess we should also test this part, even though I haven't tested this yet. Oh baby, it all works. Let's see, get nested data, strips, leading, ending, what are these called? Slashes. Yeah. So we might start streaming like 4 or 5 hours early. I was thinking about it. Today I didn't end up doing that because I was just doing other stuff. Like, I'm not sure what I was doing. Oh, you know what I was doing? If we look at my list of things I did today, I spent 3 hours just reading manga. I just spent 3 hours reading manga. Oh baby. That's kind of where all my time went. Then spent a lot of time just kind of sitting around like I usually do. Yeah. What did I read? Shingetsutan Tsukihime. Yeah. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Has a lot of chapters, but it's a lot shorter than it looks like. You are on holiday? No. There's no such thing as holiday. Especially now that, I don't know, I guess people are once again paying me to do this. I don't know. It's actually kind of weird. Like I have a coffee set up, not for any specific project, by the way. Because I still have commitment issues, aka I don't want to be tagged to a specific project. But I don't know, someone tossed me some change, and I was like, wow. Imagine getting paid. Imagine that. People actually pay me to do stuff. Wow. And sponsors for the VTuber. I'm actually not sure what they were, what it's for. They just said like, thanks for working on the inspirational projects. And I was like, you know what? That's sick. That's sick. My first thing on the coffee. Yeah. It is neat. It only took me like, actually I haven't had the coffee for very long, but the coffee was only like a month. Let's see. Allows for, let's see, grab nested data using a Godot style node path syntax, e.g. I don't know, like other Some key, some array 0. Yeah, there we go. It's no surprise people want to support though. Tons of people use this stuff and make online content, especially when you start competing paid ones. Perhaps. Well, this isn't a paid one. But I get where you're coming from. Yeah, I was surprised though. I was checking my email, you know, electronic mail. I feel like whenever I say like checking my email, I feel like really old. Like it's not something that like a millennial would say. Well, that's not something like a Zoomer would say, right? Do Zoomers still use email? Or do they just send everything over like Instagram, TikTok? Yeah, but I saw that I received like, oh, you have PayPal money. I was like, I have PayPal money? Who the heck is sending me money over PayPal? I don't even have that like as an option. I said, oh, okay. It's just someone sent me a coffee thing. Nice. It feels nice to be appreciated for once. All right, so model config, that's pretty much good enough, I guess. Like there's not too much more for me to really test until I build out the rest. Although something that's kind of neat about this implementation is that it automatically deserializes like these classes as well. So that's neat. So you can have, so if you need a dictionary, you can use a dictionary, or you can use like an actual class, as long as it extends base config. And then it should serialize and deserialize, no problem. Yeah, do you have Patreon? Not that you may require. I do have a Patreon, but I don't know. I figured that like I'd rather not have subscriptions. I feel like a subscription is also kind of a too much commitment. Although I didn't realize Coffee also had like subscriptions. Yeah, I do have a Patreon, but I don't advertise it. Only have Coffee and LibrePay, because I'd rather you just like send me a one-time thing if you're going to send anything at all. I don't want to be on the hook. I'm paying a subscription. Test round trip pass. Alright, so round trip, it's exactly what it sounds like. Is that we'll load something. So assert true, MCO. Life the creative, we crave attention. I do crave attention. Please give me attention so I get more stars. That's all I want. Give me stars on GitHub. So that it helps me later when I'm negotiating with companies. That's all I want. How is it so hard? But surprisingly, it is pretty hard. Like people, I don't know. It's like unless I like explicitly request people to give me stars, most people just kind of look at it and say, oh, that's cool. Then they'll save it. It's like, ah, please don't save it. Or if you're gonna save it and star it at the same time. I desire stars so I can make my I guess put me in a greater bargaining position, if that makes any sense. Let's see. I guess we can assert true. So good string, or string 0. These variable names are kind of bad if we're being polite. All right. So replace all the strings with nothing. Then we'll want to strip edges. I guess strip escapes as well, because yeah, strip escapes because there are actually escapes in a JSON string. Yeah, Although I can say that after a little bit of self-reflection, talking about the creatives craving attention. Yeah. I think doing I don't know. Seeing my plugins fail or the add-ons I made for the add-on jam not do very well was kind of a hit to my my self-esteem. I've started getting really salty after that. But I've reflected and decided to not care about it so much. Alright. So this was model config, yeah. Oh, it failed. Okay. Round trip pass. Oh, geez. Line 60. Oh, geez. Ooh. I don't know what these say, but I can tell that they're not the same. So these should have been the same, actually, because they should have been parsed as the same thing. Because you always will have a... You'll always have an other field. Oh my god, okay. I have no idea what these values are supposed to do. Because there's just too many values. Hold on. It must be somewhere in the middle. More than I ever did, I wish for confidence to even start a project like you. It's alright. All you need to do is just do it. Just start it for yourself. I think the problem with the add-on jam and why it kind of like negatively affected my mental state was because I was not making it for myself. I was making it for other people. But I think if you write something that you find cool, I guess you'll never be too disappointed. You might be a little disappointed if you compare to others, but as long as you find it cool, can't be too bad. This is what I can't tell what this is supposed to be. I'm trying to grab this. All right, so we go to JSON beautifier. Skill and drive that skill. I don't know if I'm really that skillful. I think I just have... I guess I'm just willing to... Oh my god. I'm just willing to make a fool of myself. Live on the internet. Yeah, because I do know that a lot of people do get nervous when they like program in front of other people. I get it. Is this not it? Oh, beautify me. Ah! Yeah, like I know a lot of people, like I don't get nervous when I do like pair programming at work. But I know that a lot of people do. I don't know. It's just like, I'm programming. You're programming. We're both programming. Actually, pair programming, not only one person programs. The other person just watches. Try a different website. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I think there is just... This is the one I usually use, but I think there's just an error in the JSON. Yeah. There's an error somewhere, but I don't know where. Yeah. There's an error somewhere, but I have no idea where. So people who are willing to make fools in this, I don't know, taking over the work, it's just the time. Taking over the world? Maybe. Maybe. It's more the people that are manipulating other people, in my opinion, but there is some truth to that. You just gotta manipulate the people who are willing to make fools of themselves. Did I... This should have been the same thing, so I replaced... So these should be the same thing. Strip edges. Imagine even if there is an error, we should still beautify and maybe catch the error. Yeah, I think there is a website out that does that. I just don't know where. This looks like the same. Okay, see, okay. This one actually gives it something interesting. Expect line 1. Is it this one? Expected. Wait a minute. I guess this one gives me something, but I don't think that's true. Question mark. Parse error on line 1. Is there another 18? Because technically this is all on line 1, which makes this hard. Expected end of file, closing, literally anything besides what I gave it. All right, I guess we'll do this manually. That's fine. There's something here that's wrong, but I have no idea which one. There's something broken, I don't know what. It's one of these 18s. Bone transforms. This is right. JSON lint. Oh, okay. Bring me back. Ooh. Bring me back. Okay. Validate JSON. Sure. Oh, there we go. That's sick. Much appreciated. So, line 256. Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So, expect it to equal... Did I accidentally do base config instead of model config? Oh, yeah. Of course these won't be equal. That makes sense. Could I have caught that? Oh, that's why it's so short, is because, yeah, I'm just comparing against this string. But this is the actual data, the full data type. Yeah. So, whenever you instantiate in a model config file, it also just gives you a bunch of values for free. So it'll do its best to like try to parse an incomplete config file for whatever reason. So basically that might sound like an error, but it basically makes sure that it's backwards compatible, which is neat. It will do its best to parse older config files, which I think the current config system that I have will also try to do, but I'm pretty sure it just blows up if it doesn't parse correctly. Whereas my system, it'll just place things into the other field. Okay, that's cool. Neat. Guess I'll grab this. Ignore the Rust GPU thing. I'm working on that in parallel. Okay, so these obviously won't be equal. Let's see. I guess we'll just need to do... Or I guess we can't compare against regular string. I guess we can just reparse. So model config 1 equal to model config assert true. Model config 1 parse string. So this will be string 0. Yeah. So something that's a bit, I guess, a little strange in this circumstance, right, is that parse string returns a result, but that result is basically just like, is it okay or is there an error? Where sometimes I'm also passing in like results actually contain a result value, if that makes any sense. But no, parse string works implicitly, but then also returns a result code, letting me know if it failed or not. So let's see, MC1 get as JSON string. Then this one needs to be MC0 get as JSON string. So if you are a reasonable person, I guess it's obvious. Oh, actually, it's not obvious that these will be equal. Okay. So now we have run into another issue. That's good. This is what I was worried about, is that we have parsed and unparsed. We parsed some code, then we omitted some code, and then reparsed that omitted code. Or not code, text, right? So that's valid JSON. All right, so that's okay. So, yeah, so we have, basically what we've done is we've parsed this string once, gotten one set of data, parsed it again using a separate config file, use the results of this config, the first config parsing, to reparse the file, and then we have gotten two separate values, which is concerning. So I'm not super sure. All right, validate me. So these are both valid, so let's just squeeze these into here. Couldn't ignore Rust GPU much. You know this, Embark? Yeah, they're that, it's a game dev studio that also supports a bunch of open source Rust projects. That's neat. I wonder why these are off. Yeah, I'm somewhat familiar. Yeah, Embark, they also, they financially support, I think, Bevy and Rapier. So that's neat. Oh, I see. Well, actually, no. That's okay. Like, that should be reparsed, no problem. Right. Oh. Okay, I see. It's something to do with how I'm parsing the colors, because you can see that this light color is completely white, while this one is completely black. Why is that? It's real-time GI. Let's see. Embark. What are you looking at? Oh, what's Rust GPU? Oh, this is like actual Rust GPU stuff. I thought you were talking about like the Rust web GPU thing. So there's Rust GPU, and then, oh, that's neat. Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah. I think this is a bit too low level for me. It's a bit too low level for me. I'm not super familiar with how to work with this kind of stuff. I like having a little bit of abstraction. It's a bit too tough. How beautiful that GI is. Yeah, it's pretty good. It looks good. Almost has a, I don't know, like almost like an Overwatch-y feel to the environment, though. Maybe it's because it's the lack of particles. Although I like this kind of like, ooh, that fade. It looks good, yeah. Looks good. Alright, so this is what I'm getting. What is the wait a minute. I don't actually define. Huh. Yeah, hover Godot 4 can be that good. Well, I think it potentially could, right? Like what Godot is doing for GI is like SDF GI. So it should be, you don't need ray tracing for pretty much ray tracing quality visuals. Yeah. I think the hardest thing about visuals isn't really the renderer, right? It's like making assets good enough that can actually make full use of the fancy render stuff. So like not just having like the you know, the mesh and whatever, but you also need to have the correct materials. It's crazy if it performs well. Yeah. Oh no, most of the Rust stuff is somewhat experimental so far, so I'm not holding my breath just yet. No, I'm wondering. I've caught a bug, which is good. I'm not sure how to fix the bug, which is less good, so let's think through it. Model config. Yeah. For most of the Rust rendering stuff, I'm gonna wait until somebody builds a wrapper on top of them. I hate having to mess with render pipelines and like write the shaders myself. Like it's cool. I think that was one of my New Year's resolutions, was to build my own just basic 2D game engine in Rust using WebGPU, but there's gonna be a little time. It'll take a little time. Get as dictionary. I don't think you can do. Yeah, you can't do this, right? Because otherwise this creates a circular reference, I'm pretty sure. Doesn't it? Parse dictionary. I'm pretty sure this leads to a circular reference. Like, you're not allowed to do this. Right. Doesn't this break? But the logic should be more correct. Yeah, okay. That's a circular reference. You're not allowed to do this. So this needs to be base config. So I might need to move these out into a separate file so I can actually... No. Because the hard part about this is that I need to get it basically as a modified dictionary for all of these values, because some of these values are floats, some of these values are integers. So I need to know how to reparse them. Or like some of these values are like a deconstructed color value. Right, so I need to know, like, okay, what is this field? I think that's the problem that I'm seeing here, is that I've stored main light as this, so it doesn't know how to reparse it. Just continue writing below, maybe. I'm still trying to, I'm talking my way through it, because I'm not sure what the answer is. Because for some reason I have full values, like 1111 in RGBA nomenclature, that is what is that? that's white, isn't it? Or is no, 1111 is black, isn't it? I don't know. What is it? Where do I just find color stuff? Screens. This is for tests. I don't care about tests. Not just yet. GUI. Let's go into base view. Yeah, and then we can mess with the modulate and then just see what that gives me. Okay, yeah, no, 1111 is white, but for some reason it parsed it as 0000. How can it be black? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure since I didn't. That's not one of the fields I changed. Right, because see here, I only changed the light energy part of main light. And then I even have a little comment here that it uses the default value. So the round trip is breaking, but I'm not sure why. Maybe this could use like a custom like get as like annotated dictionary. I don't know, it depends on color type. Well, they're all using the same. If it uses 255 max, it's black. Well, the way that Godot serializes the data is in from a scale from 0 to 1. So you'll need to divide all your values by 255 if you're trying to serialize it. At least that's how the JSON util works. I don't. Let's see, JSON util. This actually still needs to be translated slightly, but it's close enough. Yeah, does make sense. Well, I mean, that's just how Godot does it, right? That's just how Godot does it on a scale from 0 to 1. And then if you pass in a value that's greater than 1, you'll start getting some weird stuff happening. All right, I think I know what I need to do. I need to move data points out. Need to move that out so that it's its own thingy. Alright, this is not a node, this is a reference. Data point. This is one of the few pure structs that we're going to be using. Type key. Type value key. Data type some sort of integer, which is based off of the built-in Godot type system, and then also just my own custom type thing here defined in model config. Init, so you have your DT, some sort of integer, that's your data type, and then your DB, which is your data value. Data type equals DT. Get as dictionary. So type key, data type, and then this is your value key, which is your data value. Yeah, there we go. There's your data points, which means we'll need to take this out. That should still be okay, but then I need to move this, get as dictionary, because I need this to actually be, I need this to be inherited by other files. So now we're starting to get into inheritance hell. So if you like Java, you'll feel right at place, right at home. So this is going to be, I guess, like annotated config. Annotated. What's the? I guess it's like not annotate. It's like hinted config. That's your hinted config. So this is class name. Hinted config. Extends. Base config. Wow. Yeah, so then get as dictionary. Move me over here. So I need to grab this stuff, take that out. Normalized data types. Pretty much all this stuff needs to be placed here. Yeah. Oh, but then I don't have access to the custom types. It's not here. Hold on. Parse dictionary needs to be different as well. I think custom types needs to be placed in global constants. That's probably the best place for it. So there's your custom types. So then in global constants, we'll just have these. Ooh, what's your problem? Oh geez. Main lights isn't defined in the current scope. That's true. All right, I'm still thinking. Model config, yeah, hinted config. We do need to have I guess this is still available in the model config. So then we'll do model config. We'll grab the inner class from that. Oh, baby. Actually, wait. That won't make sense because now it's a circular reference. Which means that these need to be defined at this level. But actually, no, because they can't. They need to be... Ooh. They need to be defined just in the config file again. Oh boy. Let's do it. Mainline GD. This will just be basically another struct, right? So this is class name. Main light, sure. Extends hinted config, and then basically just a struct that holds some values that we'll be able to access. So I'll get rid of this. Does using properties help you at all, since you never see you use them? What do you mean properties? Do you mean like setters and getters? I do have one setter. I'm not a huge fan of the implicit setter getter stuff though. I'm more of a fan of, I don't know, like if I want to access like the field directly, I should be allowed to, if that makes sense. Yeah, they have places that can't be replaced. What do you mean? Places that can't be replaced? What does that mean? Unmarshal data. I keep running into a circular reference. So hinted config needs to know about, or maybe it doesn't. Hinted config might not need to have unmarshal data. But I do, no, because I need to do this. I need to marshal it and then unmarshal it. They have uses, cleaner code, better structured? Maybe. I don't know if it's better structured. I think it just makes it more convenient, doesn't it? Right. Because now you're abstracting away like some functionality using a setter. Or I guess even if you're setting a field, you might not actually be setting the field that you think you're setting, which I'm not a huge fan of. I think if I want to, you know, set a field directly, I'll use the field. If I wanted to use the setter, I'll explicitly use the setter. I only use it in this one case because I always need to toggle, you know, if you ever change this field, I also need to change this field to true. That's pretty much the only thing I ever use setters for. Identifier, current scope, this makes sense. Yeah, this is not correct. I know this works actually in Godot 4. You can have a circular reference in Godot 4 because it's smart enough to know that it's a circular reference. Yeah, you can have conditional checks and logic in setter. Yeah, I know what you use setters for, right? But I don't know. I don't like it when code flow is like changed without you explicitly knowing it's changed, right? So if I were to set like this to true and then the setter doesn't actually set this to true, I think that's really bad. Or if like setting this to true kicks off a bunch of other things, I'd rather not do that. Because I don't like it when my code is smarter than me. It requires me to remember like, all right, like I'm setting the field, but also setting the field sets like a million other things. I'd rather not. I think the only instance where I think a setter is okay is if you're trying to clamp a value, but I feel like you should be doing the value clamping somewhere else if you need to do that, right? I think it just depends on where you think like most of the data management should be handled. Should it be handled, you know, wherever you're storing the field, or should it be handled by whoever's writing to the field? So I'm of the opinion I'd rather the writer of the field figure their data out first. You know, the data store is just the data store. The data store doesn't care. But now I'm running into this problem where I'm trying to unmarshal objects. I'm trying to unmarshal objects, but I don't... Like, there's no way for me to know what the object is. Because I need this to be a hinted... Maybe this doesn't actually need to be a hinted config. Maybe I can move... This is tough. This is tough. Main light. I think I'm gonna delete main light. Bring me back. That's correct. It already exists at model config. That's true, because now we're starting to add and remove classes not in the editor. So now we're starting to break. That makes sense. Yeah, that's correct. How do I want to solve this? Because the problem is that these aren't deserializing, or these aren't these aren't marshalling correctly. And so when I unmarshal them, aka serialize them, they get serialized incorrectly. So I thought I wanted to use like a hinted config so that we marshal everything correctly. Don't know what's the problem. The problem is this, right? So you can see that it's not a race condition. It's the fact that when I store data in the JSON file, I actually store it like this. So it's everything is a dictionary basically. So you have your tracker FPS. It has the type that it's associated with, and then the value. So tracker FPS is 12. Tracker address type string is this. You know, and then the problem here is that this doesn't actually serialize or marshal correctly. So this is my custom type 201 main lights value, and then these should follow the same semantics, but they don't. So like when these get reparsed, it doesn't know how to parse it. So it's not too hard to do like to write my own parser for colors and stuff, but I really should be using it like this. So I guess I'll need like a JSON. Maybe I'll just add this to my JSON util. I guess if oh, I didn't mean to do that. No, bring me back. Bring me back. Oh no, it's gone. All right, I'm dumb. It's okay, I'll grab that again. Don't you use your own serial? Yeah, I actually do have my own serializer. Maybe I should just use that instead of trying to make this work with a fancy config. Just undo me. I think that's good. Redo it. Close, open. Data point not exist at model config. Eh? This is not true. Refresh. Send yourself. All right. So the problem when you have too many types in Godot, Godot starts to get very ornery about the order in which you're doing things in. Okay, so just reopen it. Refresh. I'm like 90% sure this is a known bug. All right, so yeah, now we're good. So what happens is I'm pretty sure it tries to cache all the classes before you actually use them. Nope. What? Can't override global unique class. I don't actually have this though. Oh, it's actually still here. Say goodbye. Please. Give me a different error. All right. All right. Yeah, I do use my own serializer. This is the JSON util. Let's just rename this because not too much needs to be changed. Boom, boom. Let's see. JSON util. Let's just kind of arbitrarily start changing some names so I lose my mind in the future. How do you do find and replace? Isn't it isn't this it? Yeah. Then replace all. Yeah, send me. Texture transform, replace. Oh baby. Dictionary. Okay, so I guess I'll just need to do main light to dictionary and then just unserialize it afterwards. So main light. This is defined in model config main light. And then this will give me a dictionary, perhaps. Where is model config? Yeah, so these actually define where they extend base config, which is kind of weird, but it does allow me to just parse things really easily as well. I think that's good. Yeah. So given this object, unmarshal data, no, we want to get as dictionary and then marshal it? No. But in that case, if we're not... No? All config objects must... Use JSON util. Okay, so that's probably a bit better. So JSON util. Oh no, hold on. Gotta have this kind of data. I can't just pass it because all I know is that it's an object. And then I suppose what I could do, well, because I'm doing, type of data gives you an integer, so I could, no, this doesn't work in this direction. This only works in the opposite direction because I have the custom data type defined on the string. So type object, I guess I'll just need to do, I guess I can just do like a big if else chain. That's kind of gross. What have you done? There's not a good way of serializing it because here I don't have enough information to know. So what I could do, you know, if data is main light, then I can pass it into the correct deserializer or serializer, marshaller and unmarshaller. But I'm not a huge fan of that pattern. There must be a better way. There must be a better way. I don't think there is though. Like in the opposite direction, right? So if I'm transforming JSON into like real data, so I'm serializing it, that's easy because I have the type. But going in the other direction, I only have the class, which is not actually a real type. I mostly don't understand for the most part. Yeah. Why do you even write many things in the config? Well, what do you mean? They could be written as reference objects? I mean, they are reference objects, right? So these are all, well, these are all values, right? But most of these two things are reference objects. Or I guess base config is a reference. So it just has a bit more logic for automatically, you know, packing, unpacking itself. At least I think it does. Yeah, because they have a parse dictionary. I guess I guess at this point, if I'm already using the serializer, deserializer, I don't need to have base config on them anymore. Just write it to the hard drive as is and load as you want as a resource. Oh, as like a resource object. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of using Godot's built-in resource. Oh, you're saying like store it as like a, like just drop it into like a file. Like I know that you can do that for some objects. How do you just write an object in Godot? I feel like I've seen something about that before. Yeah, isn't it like the resource class does that? So that's why you would want to use resource sometimes? Something like that? Almost everything can be written. Oh yeah. In file you can pass in a... Isn't it? Yeah, you can store a variable, more or less. Stores any variant value in the file. Yeah, almost everything is a resource. Yeah. I don't know. The thing that makes me nervous about how this works is that like I don't know which properties are being stored, so I'm not sure if everything is... I don't know what's being stored because like this doesn't tell me anything. And especially since it says like not all properties are included. Only properties that are configured with the property storage usage flags will be serialized. You can add a new usage flag to a property by overriding the object get property list method in your class. You can... That just sounds weird. I think I'd rather just be more explicit about it, because it's not too hard to do to just be more explicit. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. For anything that Godot does that is not explicit, I tend to prefer to just do it myself. So like, you know, like storing a string to a file, that's explicit. Storing a variable to a file that may or may not store all your variables, as noted in the method definition, I don't know what that means. Don't really know what that means, and I don't want to have to mess with it. You know? Resource saver. Singleton for saving Godot specific types. Oh, interesting. Oh. I guess that makes sense that there's a resource saver. If there's a resource loader, there must be a resource saver as well. Okay, it's not something like that. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So how does this... Flags bitmaps can be specified to customize the save behavior. Bundle resource, change path, omit endian, save as big endian, flags compress, sub resource path. I don't know. But then how would, I guess like, yeah, I suppose like when I'm saving, I don't need to do any of this stuff. It would make storing objects inside of other objects a lot easier as well. Yeah. Maybe that would be better. But... I don't know. We're too far in now. Light color will equal JSON util. Don't know if it's too much code to rewrite. It's not that much more. It's not that much more. I'm just a little concerned that I'm not able to debug it very well. It's the better way. Yeah, I know. It's better to prefer built-ins. I just don't quite understand some of the things. So how is it serialized? Like, I don't have any control over it. Yeah. It just says it saves it, but like, what does it save? I don't know. The better one is the one you know how you would do it. Oh, it's the better the way you know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll keep it in mind, but I'm not going to use it just yet. Color to main light. Light color. But the tough part is that this now it doesn't have a way for me to parse it back. Oh no. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking that, like, I guess I'm just doing the same thing that the resource saver is doing. The only advantage that mine has is that it's easier to unit test, but like, yeah, maybe I'll need to rethink how this works. Or maybe I just don't need, like, Another thing that comes to mind is using that meta dictionary. No, meta dictionary is not very useful. I don't know what I would use it for. The hard part is I need to serialize these. I need to serialize them somehow. For I in main light get property list, if I name in global constants, ignore properties reference. Or I guess this is like object to dictionary, and then object to dictionary almost. Or reference the dictionary. Reference. Get property list, and then here. r.i.name equals reference get i.name, and then that's your dictionary. Well, that's not true, because I'm trying to serialize this to with specific user data as well. Reference to data point dictionary, maybe? I don't know. Now that you've let me know about the resource saver, now I'm thinking, like, maybe I don't need to do any of this data marshalling, unmarshalling at all. Like, the only advantage that my system has is that if I wanted to send it to another program, it would be useful. If I wanted to send it to another program or use this across programs, it would be useful. I can test it to see how it works. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it. Like, I suppose the only thing okay, so what does resource loader do? So Godot resource loader. Give me the docs. So loads a resource at the given path. Optional type hint. And the inheritance resource can be used as a type hint. Yeah. I don't really know what this means. I think this is something that I was also a little worried about. Or this is something that's always kind of confused me, not worried about. Because this is what you have to use in GD native Rust if you want to load things. But like, what the heck does this... What does this give you? What does this give you? Does it load the thing? I don't know. I don't know. Let's see, data point. Match type of value. So if it's a type color, value equals JSON util. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna keep doing my own thing. I don't know. Type transform. Oh, that's not how you do it. Value JSON util. Transform to dictionary. Or if it's another object. Type object, then we'll just have to call this recursively, right? Reference to dictionary, something like that. Oh, but then I need to rip data point out for sure this time. Say goodbye to this. Where's my model? Model. Config. Data point GD. So class name data point. Welcome back to the squad. Extend reference. There we go. Get rid of data point here. All right, so JSON util. So reference to data point dictionary. Something like that. And then this will be data point. What was the, what did I call it? Unmarshal data? One of these. This one, data point new. Saves as a text file, or res doesn't matter, I guess. So a res file is a binary file, which I guess is more space efficient. Yeah. So this needs to take a reference and the reference type, which is an integer. So we'll pass in the reference type. And then whatever the value is, get us dictionary. Yeah. And then this is a problem because we need to pass this back into that. Although that's a bit tough. I guess we should just blow up here. AM logger error. Nested data point objects are not supported. Bailing out. Okay. Wait, no. This should be data point dot type key is equal to reference type. Data point type, not type key, type. What is it called? Data point value key. Value key. Data point value key, which is equal to all of the stuff. So that's the value type is equal to type of value. Easy enough. Match on type, and then this will be type value get as dictionary. Yeah, I guess that'll work. And then I guess we'll also need a way to deserialize as well. Okay, one more. Static function data point dict to reference. So we need to know what type it is that we are trying to create. Actually, given the data, yeah, given just the data, this should be enough. And so we can do match data point type key. So then there's global constants, custom types, main light, main world environment, and then the more I look at it, the more I think this is a bad idea. Yeah. I think I should probably just cut my losses. Yeah. Let's see if I can make it work using the resource saver. Because otherwise this is not a good pattern. I'm just building something that I'm going to have to tear out later. Too many, yeah, there's too many cases. Or it's like, if I want to add something new, I would need to, you know, add it in two places, which is what I was trying to avoid. Right? Because right now, if I want to add a new feature to this application, right? Like I need to change the config, I need to change the pub sub, I need to change the associated UI files to handle it. So that's like bare minimum 3 things that need to be changed. Yeah. It's just how custom serializer works. Yeah. Like, it's not hard. It's not hard. It's just a lot of things that need to be kept track of, which I don't think is a good idea here. And I think the obvious answer, right, is to not use a custom class. Like, don't store these in classes, just store these in dictionaries instead. Yeah. Yeah. I guess if I had like a binding generator or I guess like a code, some sort of code generation thing that would make this a lot easier. But I'm not a huge fan of code generation either. Because then it's like a lot of code that you're not supposed to look at, but you should hopefully be unit testing somehow. It's like, I'm not quite at that level just yet. Not quite at that level just yet. Wait a minute. Doesn't this mean I think I could parse this correctly if I only have... No, because I still need to do all this stuff. Hold on. I think this is okay. Like this function right here, reference the data point dictionary, is okay. That's what we'll be using for this. So this is just like return results. Okay. JSON util reference to data point dictionary. Kind of a long name, right? And then that should just be a full dictionary. Oh, and then it places it inside of another data point. That's probably okay. And then this never uses the reference type. Because I don't have it. You know what? This is tough. This is really tough. All right, resource saver. I have this pulled up on my other monitor. Resource saver. Is there any way for me to save this, or just... There's no way to get this just as a string without using a temp file. But base config. Base config doesn't really define anything. All it does is define like parsing as well, which is nice. It also makes it really easy to test, as I've said a million times before, right? Because it's just human readable in a format that lots of people understand. Maybe I just will... Because once I get to the resource saver part, it's impossible for me to test without using like a real file on my file system, which I don't want to do. Or the easiest solution, by the way, is just to make this a big dictionary. I'm very tempted to just make this a dictionary because I know the dictionary will just work. You know what? Big dictionary. Big dictionary is just way easier. Like, there's almost no benefit to making these classes, I guess. I'll consider that for the future, maybe. Just dump the data, yeah. Well, it dumps the data, and then it also, I know the serialization will work 100%, because that's how it used to work. And it's also testable by me, which is good, without requiring a temporary writable file system, which can be somewhat sketchy at times. Light sky contribution. That's okay. And then that should just serialize and deserialize like a dream, which means that we don't need to have custom types defined anymore, because then these are all just the same type. There is no such thing as object. And then here we have an error somewhere. JSON util could not be fully loaded. That's fair. Appears to still be an error somewhere, but I guess we'll figure that out. Could not be fully loaded. That's all right. Oh, okay. Normalized data type. So this doesn't actually exist. So all this does is this part. Type of data value. Should be okay. Don't test result. Test model config. Model config. That's all right. Give me a... Okay. Okay. It's good. I guess I'm still thinking about... I'm still thinking about resource saver though, because you might notice that these fields here are actually called main lights and main world environments. So that means that I am actually storing configuration values for those things, right? Or maybe I shouldn't be storing these at all. And I should just can't use the reference for those. See, that's the problem, right? I was using a reference, but then when I was trying to dump the data, I need to convert it into JSON compatible format. Otherwise, there's no way to read it back, right? Because color is not stored as RGBA by Godot. Color is just stored as, you know, 0101, basically. So, yeah, if I just store what I'm coming back to is, if I just store a reference to like the lights and the world environments, then I can use the resource saver, save it to a file, and then don't have to worry about, you know, serializing, deserializing it, because then Godot just takes care of it. Unfortunately, this is not a resource, but we could make it a resource. So base config, as long as I change this to like a resource type, then that's okay. All right, let's save. All right, let's save and I'll give it a try. Git commit refactor model config. Push me. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to use resource saver. And then these values can just be like references to like an actual light object. Then this will just be a reference to an actual environment object, maybe. Although, like I'm so conflicted. It's simpler. Yeah, it is simple. I'm just conflicted as to whether or not I actually think it's a good idea. So if we change this to a resource, right? This is now a resource. That's okay. Nothing else really needs to be added. Don't know. Code is too complex to see what's going on. Well, the code is not super complex. I guess the parsing is somewhat complex because it's all recursive. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's give resource saver a try. Let's see. Save flags. How do you define like a resource or a file type? Do you just pass the path? Use passive flag. Okay. There's no external resources. Change path. Sure. Change path. Flag replace sub-resource paths. Take over paths of safe sub-resources. Compress. Do not save editor-specific metadata. You can even prompt the user to select it. Well, the user is already... Well, no, the user actually is not prompted currently to select. But... Alright. Model config... If we just take out all of this and just leave it like this, then that's okay. Right, this is pretty simple. Custom types, we don't need this anymore. Because it's just a struct file, basically. Then for this, the only thing that we really need to implement is, or we can take out all of these things. So like parse data, get as JSON, well, I guess get as JSON string is useful, but any of the parsing stuff we don't need anymore. Yeah. Actually, talking about loading config, this is how it's done so far. So it's just all saved in the same path, so you don't need to think about it. Fix my hair. So. Not something that's a huge problem. Yeah, all right. Let's give it a try. We'll take the plunge, big refactor, ultra refactor, set data we still need, save we don't need as much. Save, this will give you back a result as always. This is the long form of you, the blue. Bop in chat. Control your libido. So this is resource saver save. So this takes a path. All of this stuff. Boom. Save data path. How did I define a path? Result, save to file, which is the model config. Let's see. metadata file name. Oh, it's not as JSON. This will be a, I don't know, a text resource maybe? And then I need to pass in flags? No, I need to pass in the resource, right? So that will be metadata. Yeah, tres, and then, oh. It doesn't really matter, I guess. We'll just pass in the default flags. Resource saver. Then we'll do the same thing here. It'll also be a text rest, so we can probably bundle this back into a private function, I guess. So we get model config name, and then we'll pass in model config, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, so save, this will return a result. So this will take in a path. Or it's not really a path, this is like the file name, right? File name. It's not really the name. It's not actually the file name, it's just the name. Resource name, I suppose. And then the actual resource, which must be some sort of base config, return a resource, or results. Something like that. Then if resource saver save dot tres save data path resource name, and then just the resource. So if this is not okay, then we'll return results error code. It's not really file write error anymore, but we'll try it. This is more config manager save error. Using metadata for what? So the metadata keeps track of all the other config files. So you always need to have some sort of metadata to keep track of, you know, like which model should I be loading in as the default. So I could set this as my default, so this will load in the first time. But there's not really past that, like a way to, you know, how do you check to see which one is the default, right? You can't just store it in one of the regular config files. So metadata does not carry too much data. So there's like the default model path, default search path when you want to load in stuff, you know, and then just like other things. Like init, no, it's not really init data. It just stores data about other data. So which data is the default, right? Yeah, I guess you could view it as like the init path, but it also stores things like Python path, like which tracking camera you want to use, so you don't need to set it every single time, since there's no way for me to figure it out by default, right? Or it doesn't make sense to store this per config. I need to store it at like a global config level. You can still load those from the config. Well, yeah, but then it's like, if I change this in like this one, right? So if I didn't have a metadata and I only had like the girl config and then the duck config, right? Then the question becomes like, if I change the camera index here, I would need to change it for every other single config file. Whereas I could have just the duck config file and then the metadata config file, which every other config file will pull data from, right? It's just easier, so you don't need to run through every other file to change the thing. It should work For a camera at least? Why? Why would you want to have a different... Why would you want to have a different camera per model? That doesn't make any sense. Like, there are some global settings that you 100% do need, which is what you would need a metadata thing for, because models are different. Well, no, but so you can see the environment is not stored at the metadata level, but the camera index is, because most people only have like 2 camera devices, which is like the computer's built-in camera device, and then like the actual camera device. Sometimes you want camera from the right side. No, this is talking about your like actual camera. This is talking about your actual camera. Are you talking about people who have multi-camera setups? I guess. People have multi-camera setups and they'll like flip through them on the fly. That seems... Well, that won't actually work, by the way. Because if you're just using the face tracker from like a... I don't know, I guess if you're turning your head, I guess? Like if you have like a different screen on like a completely separate monitor, I guess that would make sense to have make the cameras toggleable, but that is so... I don't know. That's a very niche use case. Smaller so the camera stays away. Well, you can just do like this, right? Like this is all stored at the model level. No, I think that's the very niche option. I don't know too many people who, I guess, 1, have multiple cameras, and 2, actually want to flip between multiple cameras on the fly. Yeah, I don't know. That's like needless complexity. I think it's better to have global values for that. It's like I don't know. It's like if you wanted to just have like a side view, you could just turn the model on its side, and then that'll just work like that, right? you don't need to use a completely separate camera turning every time. Well, then you can store that as a new config, right? You can just store that as a new config. So this is like, we can store this as like duck front. This is why I'm also trying to rewrite this stuff, because I'm pretty sure that this is very fragile right now. And this is duck side. And then we can load the preset like that. Then duck side, you can load the preset like that. That's fine. That's what I'm saying. Like there's global values and then there's per model values. And then I guess it's not even per model. It's just like per configuration value. So if you want it to be sideways, you know, you just need to make a new one. But some values like camera select are tagged globally because it doesn't make any sense why you would want to have different cameras. I guess like the use case for people who have multiple cameras is extremely niche. I will not build in something for them unless they actually appear. So save. No, yeah, it's okay. Well, yeah, of course it's okay. The relationship between metadata and model data, or I guess it's regular data, got it all figured out. No problems. The only thing I'm a little confused about is how to actually serialize or save them, not serialize them, save them. Which is tough. Res equals save. This will be model config name. If res is error, something like that. Okay, which means that most of these parsing tests will fail. That's good. Metadata didn't have any things there anyways. But this means that main light could just be set to like an actual main light now. Or main light can just be some sort of, I don't know. What is this called in Godot? This is a directional light. Don't directional lights? Yeah, they extend light. But you can't just instance one, I suppose. Hey, can you not create these like that? Ooh. Oh. So your main world environment, var. Well, that's actually just an environment resource, but I guess it has a sub-resource of a environment, I suppose. Main world. I guess this is just our resource, right? And then we'll just set it based off of something. Then marshal data, unmarshal data, we don't need this. We don't really need any of this stuff either. Oh, I guess get as dictionary. We don't need any of this. We'll just use the basic values from here. Yeah. Parse string, parse dictionary. There's no get as dictionary. Oh, there is a get as dictionary. That's fine. Okay. So which tests are broken now? Oh geez. All right, kill it. Once we start going into the goot, you know, you've gone too far. So now we can't parse anymore. And then there's no way to actually mock that as well, which is what I was worried about when going to resource saver. Because there is just regular, well, no, because these don't have parse dictionary defined on them either, right? Yeah. Because there's no reason to parse the dictionary if you already have the object. Well, I guess parse dictionary is still useful to have. Oh geez, where are we? Can't you assert based on read and write and read? I'm not. You could. You could. Data get as dictionary. I think that's okay. No, I think asserting based off of, all right, hold on. All right, so we're still good. I guess we can. The thing I dislike about tests that write to your file system is that sometimes your file system can just be locked. So it's a bit more involved, which I'm not a huge fan of. Well, this isn't actually even in here. This should be for test config manager, which I guess I can start on. This is in util or utils. All right, so new scripts. This is Godot test custom. So this is test. Oh, what did I call it? Oh, I just called it new script. Fantastic. This is test config manager. I think there are ways to not bottleneck IO, or there's already built in. They should technically be already built in, but see, that's why I don't like doing it based off of your file system. Like, there's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of things that can happen that can kind of bork your test without you having any control over it, right? Because your file system is just another part of your computer entirely. Whereas if you're testing everything inside your own application, you usually have resources to get around it. Whereas, you know, here you need to, you know, make sure the file doesn't already exist, or if it does, it's okay. You know, if you're doing automated testing in Docker, you need to make sure that the file system is writable. Otherwise, you'll get like a really weird error where like, I guess you'll try to write a resource, and then when you try to read it again, it's like it kind of exists, but it's not really there. So it's tough. Anything that anything that works with persisting data to disk, it's always kind of weird. Let's see. This does require me to have a configuration file. So let's just have a metadata. Ooh, that's a string. Let's see. Metadata is equal to metadata new, and then there's no way to like pass anything to it. I suppose I could try to add something, which is like, gotta sneeze. Excuse me. Base config. There are no inits, although we could just add an init here, right? So func init. So this is like some sort of dictionary equals to empty. So if not dict empty, then we'll do parse dictionary. So if you want to initialize it, I guess that's okay. Do am logger error unable to initialize. Oh, this one doesn't. Oh, because it's a resource, it doesn't actually have a name. Well, maybe it does. What is the resource name? Is that what it's called? Resource name? Okay. That should still be okay. Then we can just kind of wiggle it like this. Let's see. Default model path. Actually, I can just grab all of these. Yeah, look at that. Then this is wrong because too many arguments for init call. Base config. Resource. This should be. Oh, do I actually need to do? Dictionary. God, I hate how Godot does calling super functions. It's so weird. What is your problem? I shouldn't need to do that in the first place, actually. Like, this is not actually necessary. Hey, we go back to here. Test config manager. What is your problem? too many arguments. Base config. There's your init. Yeah. Did I just need to like reload it? Okay. Give me 1 sec. Force a reload. This is what happens when you add and remove classes. Sometimes you just need to force it to reload. Expected at most 0. That's annoying. Okay. Why can't you do this? So that doesn't do anything. Makes sense. There's your init. Please stop throwing an error. Okay. Okay, and then we'll need to do the same thing for the model config as well. That's fine. Then we'll go back to Goot. Test save load. So then var cm is equal to config manager. New. We'll do cm dot metadata is equal to whatever the heck we constructed here. And let's just try to save it, huh? That's the crowd work on. Yeah, I hate doing that. What is this? Assign values type. That's metadata. This one is metadata. Ooh. What is this? Is this just Godot being dumb? Could not find script matching test config manager GD. Eh? What are you talking about? Or at least like this should just run, right, with no asserts. Could not find scripts matching test config manager GD. Am I stupid? Am I losing my mind? It's not here, actually. What the heck? Ooh. What happened to it? What? How do you force this to refresh? I've seen this before. Like, I guess I can run this and then immediately bail out, which then forces a. Ooh. Reload current project from the menu. Oh, cool. Well, that's not really the same thing, but it's close enough, I suppose. Yeah, it says it's not there. What? Okay. Oh, I put this in model? Oh, you know what? That makes sense. I'm dumb. Ignore me. Boom. Okay, cool. It was a weird error. Anyways, I think we're just going to save to a path. So we'll do cm. Let's see, what else do I have then? So on config manager, we'll have so it tries to save both files. And there's not really like a save individual, which is fair enough, because that's what the config manager is for. The config manager manages the saving. The configuration should not manage saving by themselves. I guess we can just save to the file system. But when you're running in debug, it stores it in your exports path, which is probably okay. Yeah, I don't know. Let's send it. Okay. Exports. Okay, yeah, it's just here as a text resource now. And then there should be a, yeah, there's a change me.txt resource. Open with, let's, yeah. Script external resource. Okay, so I need to pack the resource as well. Oh, okay. Bundle resource. So wait, I need to bundle resources here. I got it, I got it. This could work, I guess. So that was in config manager. Save. Resource saver. It was there. It was there. Don't worry. I'm still not super convinced that this is the best implementation, but I think it is like the, I guess it uses the built-in resources the best. I just dislike anything that writes to my disk, but that's just a personal thing, I guess. It's only config file path. Use memdisk. What's memdisk? Memdisk? Well, unfortunately, I am using Windows. I'm using Windows, so I do not have access to that. Let's give that another try. So just see what happens. It does nothing because there's no check just yet, but we do slap these into here. Metadata.json.textres. That's fine. Okay, and then we should be able to load it back in. Yeah. Oh, like this actually just stores. That's kind of bizarre. Like this just stores the code and then just loads the script back in, I guess. I can do that. What? Like I can do that as well. What? Like I guess if this is all I needed. Like what happens if you have values? Ooh. So the metadata stuff. I have my doubts as to whether or not this is actually working. All right, so let's try this. So we'll do resource loader load. Pretty sure it was res export. Hold on. Let's change this for now. So this is just the metadata file name. Beautiful. Test config manager. Resource loader. So what is load? It just gives you a resource. Okay. So var, we call it metadata, right? We'll just call it MD. This will be equal to resource loader load res export metadata dot tres. Yeah, maybe. And we'll just hit it with a goot prints MD. And then that should automatically convert it to a printable format. No, that did not work. Wait, what the heck is this? Yeah, no, that did not work. So I need to store state when I save it. Okay. Null instance? It's not a null instance because I'm setting it right here. Like 100% it does exist. Even if it didn't exist, I don't have any null values in my application. So you can see here that I actually set defaults for every single value. So there's no possibility of having null values. So I don't. How do you save? How do you save with values? I don't know. I don't know. I think I can make this work. How do you add bit flags? Is it like this? Run me again. I'm pretty sure that doesn't actually do anything. Yeah. Yeah. I think... I don't know. So, I don't know. Godot save resource with values. Saving, loading data. Kids can code. Kids can code is pretty good. So they're just writing store var. Okay, so I don't want to use resource loader. I actually want to use file store var and then just store the entire thing, I suppose. Yeah, so no resource saver. Yeah. File new, if file open. So if we're still doing this, and we're not using any resource saver stuff, get rid of this. We'll just go back to what we were doing before. But instead of... Why are these... What the heck? Ooh. Ooh. Why is there an extra space here? How does that happen? Then save to file. What is this? I saved this, or I commented this out in Godot, but now it's like ultra broken for some reason. Okay, so here we're going to do Oh geez. So this is just metadata, and then we'll take this. So this will just be model config. Change this back to JSON, and then we'll just drop the entire variable into it. And that's in the file class, right? File, store var. Yeah, so any variants. So this doesn't actually need to be a resource anymore, so we can go back. Base config. So now that's fine. This needs to change to some sort of base config. What's your problem? Base config cannot be loaded. That's fine. Unable to initialize. Oh, well, now we don't actually have any information on what it is because it's no longer a resource, but that's okay. All right, store string. This is now store var. And then store var, full objects. Yeah, true, why not? All right, give me a shot. Give me a shot. So test config manager. I don't know. What does this give me? Use transparent background, false. Nope, that's not, oh, because this is no longer the correct thing. All right, hold on. Var file. We'll need to load it, so we'll do file new, file open res, export, metadata.json. Oh, file read. Then, well, now I'll need to, now I need these methods back. Hold on. So now base config needs the ability to parse a string. So we've kind of gone for full circle. So then file, no, this will be var md is equal to metadata new metadata parse string file get as text. Okay, and then we'll just give it a try, maybe. There's no asserts. This is still wrong as well. Yeah, I don't know. These are just the default values. And like Python path should be set to Python path. So we can try printing out this as well. So gut print cm metadata. Just to make sure that we initialized it. Yeah, so we initialized it correctly, but then we're not able to store it correctly. Oh, this is file, no, yeah, this is file read. Yeah. And then in config manager, we're doing file new, file write. Then we store the variable, which is whatever the heck we're passing in here. Yeah, these are all correct. Yeah. Yeah. So I set the metadata, cm save just makes it happen. And then we can actually, we can also check these things here. So there's the metadata.json. Yeah. This doesn't give me anything. What the heck? So store of, oh, I need to get variable, maybe. Maybe that's it. I just need to do get variable instead of, maybe? I don't know. Get variable returns the next variant value from the file. Allowed objects is true, decoding objects is allowed. I don't know. I guess we'll try it. File get var. Allow objects true. Why not? What is this? Oh, type cannot be inferred. That's all right. We don't need to print because I'm sure that we're passing in the correct stuff. Run in progress. Did we just hard crash? What happened? Did we crash? What happened? Are we crashing? We are crashing, what the heck? We're crashing. Yeah, I guess we're not able to decode it. That's interesting. Are you closing the file? Well, you don't need to close it. It automatically closes when it goes out of scope. It doesn't matter. It's just good. It's good practice to close it, but just in case you need to like reopening it again, I suppose. I don't really know. I don't have an answer. All right, what is your problem? I mean, this is correct. Hey. Doesn't match the expected argument type. Well, this is a superclass. Is there now an error? We're running into errors yet? What are you talking about? It doesn't matter. There's a superclass. Now I'm remembering why I wanted to move over to a stronger typed language. That's painful. Yeah, this is correct. Yeah. So is this still valid? Okay, so something just got yeeted for some reason. And then I think this is still incorrect. So if we print here, run it, encoded object as ID. I don't know what this means. What is encoded object? And then this one just breaks. That's neat because you're not allowed to get variables, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. It's null. It's null. I don't quite understand. Right. Because if I pass true to this one, and then the config manager, I'm still passing true. But here you can see that we're not able to do anything because we actually crash before the program finishes executing. Is the test broken or save load works just fine? It seems to be extremely broken. Seems to be extremely broken so far. So I have my doubts. Which is, yeah, I don't know. It seems to be crashing when it tries to decode the object. But if I don't decode the object, it just gives me like an empty variable, which I don't need. Like I need the variable. That's 100%. So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I've run into this before. I just forgot the reason why I decided to roll my own serialization system. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to yeet all my changes. I'm going to keep what I had before. RF test. Why is he using JSON when it's not JSON? It doesn't matter. Your file extension can be whatever you want it to be. Right? It doesn't matter. Right? You can create whatever kind of file you want. So, you know, if I make a new file called like garbage. Well, actually, you're not allowed to have semicolons, but you can do some garbage like that. Right? Then you can open it, save it, load it again. Like it's just the text file. So at least on Linux, that's how it works. So then you actually need to check the file type by doing file. I don't know. Do I have anything here? Yeah, to check the actual file type based on the file header. Yeah, JSON maybe engine interferes. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's just a problem with serialization. Yeah, so I feel validated in my decision to use my own system. All right, send me. Reload. Discard. Boom, boom. Yeah, most of these I don't need. We can run all and hopefully they all still work. Ah! Where? Oh no, something's broken. Get status. Get restore, Qt editor. I thought we were working last time. Should put it on a branch, too late. Well, it wasn't working at all. It's not hard to redo, but I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, I've tried all the flags because for storing variable, there's only 2 flags. Full objects or not. Huh, but now we're broken here because unmarshal data, invalid get index type, invalid get index type on base float because parse string, parse dictionary. It's only on this one. Did I push bad code by accident? Oh, and actually, it's not. It didn't even fail on the one I thought it would fail on. Interesting. You didn't push anything? I did push stuff. I saved state right before I ran this. Non-existent function. Oh, something is just like extra broken here for some reason. What happened? I'm still on the same branch. So like this should be okay. Is there not a result? What happened? Like I did push to a branch, right? I committed my changes. Yeah, refactor model config, and then if we look at P, we can even see that I did change all the correct stuff. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Reload 5 times. I don't know. Reload. This is broken. That makes sense because I'm still rewriting it. Run all. I'm dying. Why isn't this working? Invalid get index type on base floats. What is the data points? So we are unmarshalling it, which means that we are serializing it. Data points, that's just a straight 0.7. I don't know. That's weird. That's weird. Kill me. And then we'll go back to Env. We'll just run the Env test. Let's just run through all this stuff and just make sure everything's okay. Is it just model config that's broken? Heh? I think something is like extraordinarily broken. Because this should be, oh, this actually no, that's not true. Before all, run me one more time. So we should only fail on that. So is error, that's not true. Okay, it is nil, it's null because it failed to actually parse at all. The data point, what? I'm losing my mind, dude. This is correct. Something is being held up somewhere. Did you delete the older config files? It doesn't matter. All that matters is what Git sees. So, I mean, Git is saying that this is all we have. This would be more of a problem if I wasn't using source control, but I can prove it using source control that I all the files are the same, more or less. I guess test model config is now slightly different. Yeah, but that's just before all. Yeah, because I'm not loading any configuration. That's the more important parts. There's no configuration being loaded. So that's okay. Did I just break something in specifically model config? Sync to one previous well, I don't want to get rid of the other. I don't want to get rid of the other things. So I know why. Wait, data value. Data value. Where's my unmarshal? Oh, my unmarshal data thing is slightly broken now. Okay. No, I think I got it. I think I got it. So if we go to yeah, it's actually this configuration that's wrong. So this should be, yeah, now that I'm just doing this as regular dictionaries, right? So this should be type, yeah, it was, okay, no, it's me that's wrong. Sorry. What is color? What's type color, I should say. Type color 14. I'm trying to remember. This is what it should be looking like. So that's 0.7. Type value 0.7. So now the test should pass. Okay, well, maybe not. Invalid type. Cannot convert argument from float to dictionary. Dictionary to color. So this is an unmarshal data. So we're still here. Can you not have... Isn't energy a float, not color? This is true. Oh, you know what? You're totally right. Yeah. You're totally right. What is float? That's why it's breaking. Yeah. I think this is one of the scary parts of manually generating your own test data. Okay. Invalid get type. Hey. So now we're back to this problem. You're not. Yeah, no, I don't remember how this is supposed to look. Maybe I should just be generating. Hold on. We won't test the round trip just yet. So we'll just git print mco get as JSON string, and then I'll just copy and paste this. All right, well. Oh, this is the model config. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Let's see. The main world, main light. Did I not finish implementing the rest of the fields? No, I did. It just didn't parse it for some reason. All right. Well, this is what the unit tests are for, is to catch this. So 18. And then it doesn't run through all the inner dictionaries, even though it should be. But it's not doing it for main light, only for main world environment. Now, is that my fault or is that something else's fault? So test model config. Something is more broken than it used to be, that's for sure. Data point. Type of data value. And then this Marshall data is the Marshall data, of course. I don't know. All right. Well, okay, what was my last commit? I might have to roll back. That sucks, though. So what was my... This was refactor model config. So that's what we want. And it has some comments as well, which I don't want to get rid of. Actually, it's not too many. No, because this also has a test in it. I don't want to get rid of any tests. I don't want to get rid of any tests. Like, test-based config is beautiful. Right, because it has a round trip test as well, which passes. Copy paste to notepad. Oh, absolutely not. I suppose I could just branch off, roll back, and then see what broke. Config manager, set data. Yeah, that one's good as well. JSON util. No, it doesn't really seem like I changed that many things in model config, which is why I'm a little confused as to why it's so broken now. Because I was working with this before and it was fine. Like, this is test-based config. I know base config is solid. Model config is slightly different. Config manager. Where's my model config stuff? Model config. Model config. Yeah, here. So that's all fine. I guess we don't need to normalize a data type anymore. Yeah. Normalized data type just gave you the type anyways. Yeah, that's the only thing that changed. So it must be the data that I'm passing in that's changed or is different. So like model config, yeah, we no longer have the ability to initialize them with values, which is fine. Like model config or base config, that's sick. Config metadata. There's no round trip for this, but this should also just work. Yeah. And then it's model config, that's kind of broken. So null expected to equal color. So it should be parsing. Oh, it's because it's parsing the string. And then it just gets confused, it looks like. If you push these config stuff in Rust, maybe it would have been easier. Well, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm still running into the same errors either way. And actually, this is working before as well. So if I run just this, yeah. I think it's just a bug in how I'm deserializing. Hold on. So I think the bug is here. Model config. So it's this logic in probably, I don't know. Let's check one more time. So we can hit it with a Goot print, just model config new, and then see what the default values are, or what the serialized or marshaled values are. So I think the way it's marshalling the values is wrong. Yeah. Because when it marshals the data, it's just using base configs. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's using its own get as dictionary thing. It would have been easier. Like parsing and testing could be better. I don't know. I think most Rust test harnesses tend to be kind of garbage. Or they're I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of most Rust test harnesses. Like Goot, G-U-T is pretty good in my experience. Not bad. Rust doesn't really have good support for that because it's just too young. Like I think having like strong typing like Rust does is really nice, but not super necessary for this. I think it's a problem with how I'm deserializing stuff. So this marshals it. Marshalling means that you're sending it in a, I guess, a readable format, I suppose. So results, separate data and data keys. So we'll marshal it, which means that we send whatever value that was back through marshal. Boom, boom, boom. And then if it's a color, then we return this result. If it's another dictionary, which this actually is. Wait, no. Hold on. Test metadata. No, we're looking at test model config. Like this is actually how it should be looking, but that's not actually how it's being parsed. Right, because it should be like that's your main light, which contains your main light is a dictionary which contains more values. So let's see. If we're marshalling it, we'll run through this main light. That's a dictionary. Boom, boom. And then we marshal each key that's inside of it. So we grab the light color, we grab the color white. Right, and that's passed through marshal data once more. Oh, I see. It's because I should be assigning internal data points to this. Okay. Is it this? Let's see. I think that's okay. So this is type of results unwrap. Maybe. Maybe. R append. That might be okay. So now we've broken again. That's good. And then MCO get as JSON string. All right, that's something I've changed. So this should be model config new get as JSON string. We'll run it again. Look at what this gives me. Oh, that's wrong. Ambient light color. That should be a color, a type color, which is type color is not 18. Type color is 14. So that's wrong. Ambient light energy, that's correct. That's correct. So these are both floats. And then all the light stuff. Okay, so it's processing color as... It's processing color as the wrong type because this needs to be V, this needs to be... Yeah, we need to be doing this based off of the original value. Yeah. So give me another try. It doesn't parse correctly, but that's fine. At least this is correct. Light energy 3.7, and then it's value, boom, boom. So expected null to be equal to... Okay, so that's... Okay, hold on. I think we're getting close. MCO. I guess this is just toString. Okay, so main light, because there was already a value. Wait a minute. This is unmarshalling the data. Well, I guess that's fine. I guess that's fine. And then we don't have a default value, unfortunately, because the way that we're doing it, that's tough. Because unmarshal data, we run through everything. We run through every single key. So we run through every single key, and then we just apply them to ourselves. See, that's why having the object was nice. That's why having the object was nice, is that you can guarantee that you'll continue to have a proper value. Let me think. You know what? What if I just make it? I was meaning to refactor this anyways, I guess. So what if we just move this to other? So then the only feature is like instance props. Yeah, and then we make everything just kind of contingent on. Yeah, I guess like these will just be completely UI driven. So say goodbye. Yeah, okay, that's fire. That's okay. That's okay. As long as you just make it completely UI driven, it's fine. There is no more default value. You're too deep. Yeah, I am too deep. I think I'm just super tilted by the resource saver, resource loader thing. I thought that would work and that would really simplify my life, but unfortunately, that's not true. But at least this should be correct now. Yes! All right, save it, tag it. We're good. Fix model config marshalling. Don't know why it doesn't work. Maybe there are issues in GitHub. Maybe there are. Maybe there are. Or maybe I'm just using it incorrectly, but I think the problem with a lot of this stuff is that there's like no one uses Godot really to make programs like this. Or actually, how does Pixelorama do it? Where's it called? Pixel Florama. Yeah. So if I can just look at this, probably preferences. Don't know. Classes. Don't know. UI. No, it's probably in tools, right? Save. No. Project, maybe. And then this is just a mega file. I'm very used to this. It's in util. Is there util? That's just UI. Or is there a util thing? No, I don't see a util. Or is it an auto load? It might be an export. Or open save. So what are they doing? So they have a preview dialog, yeah. Auto save timer, yeah. Save. What do you got? Save PXO file. So I guess that's a Pixelorama file. If not autosave, blah blah. If not serialized data, sure. To save. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess that they're actually just storing it as like binary blobs. Interesting. Yeah. So this is what I'm looking at. Yeah, they're actually using roughly the same thing that I'm doing. Actually, theirs is actually more complicated because they're storing their stuff as binary blobs, as a binary format. So they're just doing, you know, cell image get data. I'm not really sure how they figure out when to start and stop processing. It must be as like load. Yeah. There's open old PXO file, and then there's presumably, yeah, just regular open PXO file. Yeah, and then they open it, they read it. Yeah, they parse the first line as their, I guess their header magic. Or what is it called? Just magic header? Yeah, magic header, not header magic. Magic header. Yeah, and then they just buffer. Yeah, then they just have their own binary format, which I'm not actually doing. Mine, way simpler. It's just JSON. Although it would probably help if I had a binary format, but then there's not a lot that I can do, either to, you know, figure out values, considering that I can have any order of values or any number of values as well. Yeah. That's tough. That's tough. I think this is pretty good though. I think this is pretty good. Like round trip, everything seems to pass. Probably, please. Yes. Everything passes more or less. Time to start rewriting Opencgd, probably one of the heaviest pieces that also is in desperate need of rewrite. All right, so let's do new folder, trackers, because I did say that maybe at some point I would backport Leap Motion support to this, but so I guess while we're at it, we might as well open. So OpenC structured. I think this does need to be a node because it needs to run its own process function. So that's, oh, this doesn't actually have anything on it. Cool. Class name, OpenC. I guess it's OpenC face, right? OpenC face. OpenC face GD. There we go. We'll add this as an auto load. Trackers, OpenC face. There we go. Now all we need to do, OpenC face GD. Oh baby. Oh baby. So OpenC data needs to go to model, probably. This is tough. Yeah, okay. So the tracker will be an OpenC face.gd model. We'll stick everything into a folder just called trackers. And so OpenC data, OpenC face data. This will be a reference. And then there's OpenC face features. OpenC face features. We're going full Java with this. Okay. So now, we'll just copy over pretty much all of these. I don't really know why packet frame size is stored like this, but I'll let you do it. Tracking data, I feel like I don't need to do it like that. I remember this was a change from one of the contributors. Then max 3D fit error. There we go. OpenC data, all of this stuff will need to be implemented somewhere else. And then const run face tracker text. Run tracker. Found a video about resource saver though. Did it seem to work? It wasn't working for me, but maybe I was just doing it wrong. But we're already past that. Maybe for next time. But it doesn't appear like anyone really uses the built-in resource saver stuff. Like, I don't know. Like if the bigger applications aren't using it, then I guess I don't need to use it either. In a single resource file. I guess it's playing right now. I'd rather not. Do they have a... It's only a video? Oh, I'm absolutely not watching this. Give me the text. I can't follow along with the video. It's too hard. Stamp the code though. I need the code. Yeah, I suppose somewhat unintuitively. Even though like I'm talking through my entire thought process, like I find it extremely difficult to like listen to someone talk about technical stuff. Like it makes like you'll say like a sentence, I'll be, yeah, I'm with you. You'll say another sentence, all right, I've completely lost you. So I need something that's a bit more, I don't know, just written down. Well, I'll look it up later, I guess. There must be like a tutorial or something that I'm missing. must be created when starting tracking. Stop reception. Bar is tracking. PID, some sort of int, we'll make it negative. You can just read the code at the timestamp I posted. All right, let's try it again. Nope. Hold on. All right, let's try to look at it. It's very blurry though. Make recursive, and then they save it. New save. What the heck is a save? Game save class new. Sure. New save. No, that's what I was doing. Yeah. No, that's what I was doing. Technically, they don't need make recursive there as well, since they're doing it from their res directory. So if their resource directory doesn't exist, you got bigger problems. What they should be doing. No. No. That's it. Yeah. No, that's what I did. Yeah. That is exactly what I did. Actually, they're not even passing any flags. Yeah, see, I didn't have this. What the heck? Even though I could guarantee that my resource did have those values. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just because, I don't know, my configuration is complicated. Maybe it's just because my configuration is very, very complicated. Or it's not very, very complicated, but there's a lot going on, shall we say. So model config has a lot of stuff. I guess they're all just like single values though. I don't know. We'll have to look into it later. At least in this case, it should be fairly easy to rip everything out and replace it with resource saver. Straightforward. If it was a full array, well, it's not a full array of data, right? But it is just, they are just like fields, which is very straightforward in terms of like marshalling and unmarshalling to JSON. Be taken when running the server. Video, he shows the I saw the text res file. I saw it, yeah. Like he has values, I don't really know why. Pub sub. So this is looking for toggle tracker. Do I still implement that toggle tracker? I do. Okay. Yeah, so we do need to connect to that. That makes sense. Editor shows it. Well, unfortunately, I'm doing like I hardly use the Godot editor for anything besides like, because none of this requires like visual positioning, right? Like I don't need to position things just anywhere, right? Everything is more or less just at position 0. So on toggle tracker. I think this is okay. So we need to have a start tracker. Oh, okay. Start tracker. And then this will return true. Okay. Sure. Start receiver. I don't remember what most of these do. Someone started doing work on this receiver. So I've been out of the loop on what exactly this stuff does. Don't know how your tube is blurred. I want to sidetrack you. Yeah, I get it. I get it. You're just trying to be helpful. But, you know, it's something that's more or less already solved, so. Is there a better way? Yeah. Is the way working for me? No. Do I want to spend any more time thinking about it? No. So here we are. Exit tree. Stop receiver. Okay. Then here, if was tracking does not equal is tracking. If is tracking. AM pub sub broadcast update label text start tracker. This is something that I'm not a huge fan of, but it is very easy to understand. Run face. I think that's okay. Tracking started. I don't remember what these do. What did these do? Model display screen. So tracking started is tracking. What changes here? Not too much. I think that's something I can get rid of later. All right, because we can just listen for toggle tracker, more or less. Let's see. Start tracker. Let's add a to-do to make this pull label value from GUI instead, question mark. And we'll do it for this one as well. All right, so start receiver. That's one of the things that can't really change because that is super complicated. If AM config manager did I not implement a get data? Oh, I did not implement a get data. I should implement a get data for this. So get data key string. So if model config var val, so if model config, if val is equal to model config get data key, if val is not null, return value. Elif, wait, val is equal to metadata, get data, key. This is GDQuest. All right, GDQuest is usually a little better in my experience because they actually provide code snippets. Save and load using resources. I'm assuming it's this one. I'm not a huge fan of using the source format. It's very C style or Java style. Let's see. I don't see. Maybe it's in main. No, save. There we go. Game saver, save game. probably game saver and then also save game. Wash it, game saver. Yeah, it's one of these. Right, so this is the data, and that's your game version. Yeah, I do the same thing. I actually use almost the same format as them, except like I prefer explicit fields over just storing everything in a big dictionary. So project settings, directory, save path, resource savers, save. Yeah. Wait. What the heck is this? Is that that's not a function that you can use? Is it? I've never seen that before. What is that? Oh. That's neat. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. Oh, you know what? That's the person that you the person's who's the first tutorial that you're showing. This is where they pulled that from. They just stole their tutorial, or maybe they stole this tutorial from them. I don't know. I don't know whose is first. But this makes more sense. So like if your save folder is if your save folder is not in your res directory, then it makes sense to use make directory recursive. Yeah. But yeah, see, I commented on that on the first tutorial that it doesn't make any sense. But see here, this makes more sense, is that they're using like at least a constant value. Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't belong to everyone. Well, it is a little rude to steal code and not give attribution. Especially since this is, yeah, this is MIT. So you do actually, you're required by the license to give attributions. Resource saver. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Get nodes in group save. Save game. Wait a minute. Hold on. So is this like party member.gd? Are these in group? See, do these have groups? Okay, yeah, it does have groups defined on the text scene. Okay. So they have a save thing. Save game. Okay, so they take in a save game resource, which is the save game. They pass in the save game. Then save game data, save key. Is everyone's save key different? Oh, that is bizarre. I hate that. Problem is when you're trying to say probably something nasty Godot can't see it. Yeah, probably. Probably. It's probably like the object. So like it probably doesn't like nested objects. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It probably was that because it doesn't look like anyone else is using nested objects. Yeah, I use inner classes a lot. So like the original Opencgd uses a few. Actually, it has a doubly nested class as well. Yeah, class object, it's basically the same thing. So I do like using inner classes. That's something I will not compromise on. Inner classes, pretty sick. Big fan. Logger error key not found. And model config Oh, it doesn't work. Is this object an object? Yeah. Well, I mean, Godot does have the metadata associated with it. Yeah, I guess the problem is that you can't just save an object, which is why I was excited, right? Like, that's the entire reason why I was like, oh, that's sick, right? Godot will just serialize my object for me and know how to read it back, and that saves me a lot of pain. But I guess it can't, which, you know, unfortunate. So, am get data tracker FPS is greater than max tracker FPS. You could use a custom object constructor, then you can just use a custom object constructor, then it would work. Would it? Is that how that works? I thought, like, you can introspect on the fields of any object by using this pattern here. So like for I and get property list, there's a few properties that you could ignore for references at the very least, and then you just do this. Yeah, so this is a pattern I use a lot. For I and get property list, and then we just construct a dictionary of all the properties that are actually relevant. So I don't think you need a constructor. I mean, that's because that's how I've been doing it. Yeah, so I'm not convinced, but if that solves it, that's dumb. If having an explicit constructor solves it, then that's horrible, actually. Yeah, you don't create object by defining it, but you also deconstruct and reconstruct. So where does it also work? Yeah. Well, it's just like I don't know. It's almost like it's doubling down on like Java style constructor stuff, right? Because in Java you must have in Java you actually don't need a default constructor. You can have a parameterized constructor, but you do need a constructor. Whereas in Godot you should just be able to use the superclasses constructor instead. So I don't know. Let's grab all of these. These are the face tracker options, very important. Full string array. This is get data. So we'll just look for these values. Tracker FPS. Ooh. Let's see. Isn't video, this is incorrect. I should be passing in a different one. Yeah, this is like Windows only. Yeah. Yeah, this is Windows only. I think. Oh, actually, on Windows, are you not able to change your webcam? I think I think I just realized that. Yeah. Providers says that now we know stuff. If we want to use native saver, yeah. If you want to use a native saver, you can't use a custom object, basically. From what it seems like. Unless you have a constructor. Have you tried using a constructor with a custom object? Or a custom nested object in your class? It doesn't make any sense to me that would fix it, but maybe it does. Have done it in Unity? Well, you do. Well, in Unity, you do need to do it, because in C#, that's how objects work. Right, that's just like the Java way of doing it. But this isn't Java, this is GDScript, which is closer to Python. So like you don't actually need a constructor for pretty much anything really, besides like the very base classes. objects are the same? Well, not necessarily, right? So if you try to construct an object in C# without a constructor, you get an error. But in Godot, you'll just use the built-in constructor, which is no parameters, no nothing. So, I mean, I can prove that here somewhere. Where is it? Yeah. Well, actually, this one takes a constructor. That's a bad example. Opencgd doesn't have a constructor. Oh, actually, this one does have a constructor. I have a few. What I was using in model config did not have constructors, but they're still working. I said custom, so you need to generate an object. Not really a constructor. Well, I was generating an object, right? So I was constructing the object. So, like, you can do like class test light, right? And then you can instantiate it like doing this. Test light is equal to test light. So you'll just use the default constructor. So there is a default constructor. You never need to define even like an empty, you know, init. Right? That's never necessary. Because there's always the implicit constructor. Whereas in C# you always need to have the built-in constructor. Because that's how Java works. And pass the resource object in new and constructor objects. But no, because they were already resource objects. They were already resources, right? So it shouldn't matter. And actually, I don't know. I think it's just that you can't serialize anything that, maybe it's just that you can't serialize anything that isn't a resource or a variant or an explicit. You can't serialize anything that isn't, one, a variant but not an object, or two, not a resource. So it must be a variant, primitive, or a resource. Resource type is a custom type that resource saver can handle. I don't know. I don't really. I'm over it. I don't care anymore. It didn't work for me. I don't know. I think with my implementation, I just have more control. You assign the variables explicitly to class variables. Assign the variables explicitly to class variables. Well, I mean, that's how init stuff works in other languages, you know? So that does make sense, right? Is that if you have an init function, right? If you have init, you know, A, B, C, they don't need to assign those to your own self A equals A, etc., etc. Yeah. But you don't need that in GD scripts. That's my point, is that you never need that. You never need that. Unless, but if you do need that explicitly just for resource saver, then that's dumb. And I refuse to use it. exe path. If you want a custom object type, I do have lots of custom object types. That's not true. Not true. I can prove that. I can prove that by doing this. Oh, I put trackers in the wrong place again. I can prove that by running my base config stuff. So you can see here that we have base config. We're constructing base config. I don't know where I went. Send me back. And then you'll notice that base config does not have init. There is no init function defined in here. But if we go to test base config, you can see that I am creating a new instance of base config with a .new. And then we can run it, verify that it works. So we are somehow creating an object with the new function without actually defining init. I wonder how that works. Is it just using the built-in init constructor? Anything you can export in Godot can be saved. Yeah. So I'm thinking it must either be a primitive or it must be, I guess, something that exports or extends a resource, which I thought my stuff was extending a resource, but maybe it wasn't. Yeah, primitive, native type. Well, primitives are strings. Well, strings are not actually primitives, but they're close enough, and usually considered to be primitive types. Floats, integers, vector2, vector3, color, transform. A lot of the shapes are also considered to be primitives. I think this is okay. You know what? Let's also add a logger at the very top. Logger new. So this will be Opencgd base. Let's see. PID is equal to OS execute. Will I bother you most of the time? That's all right. It's good to keep myself, I guess, not too tunneled in on one thing, which is what streaming is nice for. Face tracker options. So this will need to be this thing. AM, CM, get data. This is an API I'm pretty proud of. Only because you don't need to know where the data is stored anymore. CM, get data. Tracker FPS. Video, this needs to pull data from. Alright, hold on. What script is this? And I need to move these out of there. Was it run OSF lines? Yeah, so video. Oh no. Hold on. So run OSF Linux. So this is 1. No, this is 0. No, this is 1. Because 0 is the current script. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 3 is camera. Okay, cool. Oh, okay. I don't remember what this is supposed to be then. Okay. Get data, boom, boom. Then this one. Get data. Okay. So get rid of this. So we need to hold on to the PID and then return that later. Or at least determine if the PID is greater than. Greater than 0. Which means that we successfully started. am logger error unhandled OS type. Let's get name. If PID is less than or equal to 0. Actually, it should just, yeah. PID 0 is usually reserved, so we can safely prevent you from using that. Logger error failed to start tracker. Return false. Face tracker PID is equal to PID. Yeah, okay. And then we can do most of this stuff. To do, add in, what is it called? Add in logger toast notification. There we go. Now we just need to do the long and strenuous process of this stuff. Okay. So get data, Python path. Var directory, blah, blah. I think most of this is okay. I don't remember why I need to yield twice, but I won't question it. Yeah, I actually don't remember. Oh, because you need to yield twice in order to give the pop-up time to actually pop up. I remember. So let's see. To do, add in logger pop-up notification. This one, we need to put this back. Comment that. Yeah, they're all commented. I just need to go back and like re-implement the notification manager. It's tough. Lots of stuff to do. Comment? Yeah, I guess. Considering I did, it is kind of weird. Give the pop-up time to actually pop up / display. Yeah, because we do intentionally hang. Yeah, when we're running the create VNV scripts. Let's see, most of this probably not going to change. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Send it, face tracker path. CM, get data. Get data, tracker address. The last one, get data. There we go. When I stumble something, when I do that, remember I comment it even if it's stupid? Maybe, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just forget like why I do like, you know, why do we do Python path is like star or empty? And it's like, oh, because like, I mean, that's the obvious choice, right? Because neither of those are paths. Or if star is not really a path either, right? I don't know. Like most code should be self-documenting. I just forget why I do certain things sometimes. Even though it's very obvious, I just forget like one part of the flowchart. Yeah, but I think this one, it makes sense. But I think if I had to comment every time I looked at code and then didn't remember what it did, my code would just be full of comments. No, I think my opinion is that, you know, comments are really only for, you know, like this, like these paths must be absolute paths. All right, interesting. I don't remember why they must be absolute paths. All I know is that I left a comment there saying that they must be absolute. That's good enough for me. I don't care. I think the reason why is on Linux, I can't guarantee where you're actually running the application from. So it's just safer to use an absolute path. Yeah. But too many comments adds too much visual noise, in my opinion. That's why most of my comments are just like to-dos. Logger info, stopping, face tracker. PID is greater than or equal to 0. Match OS, get name. Oh, I remember this part was tough as well, I think. Yeah, I remember this took me a while. Because you can just use OS kill on Windows, but we must use parent kill on Linux because of how the process is actually spawned via Godot. Yeah, see, this is a good comment. Explaining why we can't just use OS kill again. Why killing stuff? So if you ever want to shut down the face tracker, you must kill it. Yeah. I mean, I guess that is one of the risks that you take with downloading random software, right? Is that sometimes it might not be doing what you think it's doing. Let's get name. AM logger info tracker is not started. We're changing this like just arbitrarily, I suppose. Okay, almost there. Last one. Do you need admin privilege to kill the tracker? Nope, because it's spawned as a child process. So it's not a completely separate process. Even then, like processes, if a process spawns another process, that process is, I guess, automatically, well, I guess it's not automatically. In some cases, you can transfer ownership, I think, on Linux. I don't know how it works on Windows. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know. I don't really know too much about process stuff. I don't work at that level. Get packets. I guess we'll just take all of this. Some of these values don't actually exist because I need to implement them later. Get rid of this. Bum bum. Opencgd data doesn't exist. Tracking data. Opencgd data map. I actually don't need that either. I think I just need to hold on to the data. Pretty sure. Like, that was one of the weird things I remember Yeah, I guess we'll just hold on to the data. To do add static typing. Read from packet, Opencgd data. This doesn't actually exist. Guess we'll just to do add back once Opencgd face data is implemented. Go perform reception while not stop reception, receive, create timer, server, poll interval. I feel like you don't need to do that using a weird timer like that, but maybe that's okay. I feel like you could just use a counter, but maybe the timer is more concise. To do this seems weird. Okay, start receiver, stop receiver. You know, probably at this point in time, it might be a good point to like start moving things over to like the VSS format as well, since we're already rewriting this. So it'll make it porting to VSS a lot easier, which is the next project, the successor project that will hopefully add in other tracking types like IFM, iFunctional mocap, and also media pipe. But yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling burnt out, so I am gonna call it here. So, oh, hold on. Really quick, I remember I need to do this. Trackers, this needs to go into model, not test. So trackers. There we go. Boom. Your editor. Git add all. Git commit. Start work on tracker. Yeah, we'll just push it. Feels good. All right, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be live tomorrow from whenever, for sure from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern time, working on this again. I'll probably be working on this earlier in the day, but I'm not sure if I'm going to stream that or not. But anyways, I don't know. There's the Discord. There's the GitHub. Everything that you see on stream is more or less free and open source. Like this, which is what I'm working on. This, another thing, etc., etc. Anyways, goodbye, I guess.